All right, everyone, welcome to Ethical Wholesaling, where we are doing the right thing in real estate. All right, and today we're going to be looking at a story out of Arizona, has huge ramifications for the wholesale world. So I wanted to get this in front of you guys and have you kind of understand where things seem to be headed. So again, this particular story is coming out of Arizona. Attorney General Mays sues real estate operators and title companies for defrauding Arizona homeowners. All right, guys, this is very big for the wholesaling industry because we're starting to see this more and more with municipalities going after the wholesale industry by name, um, trying to either regulate or totally ban the practice. And real estate, it lends itself really to a lot of fraud, and it's always been an honor business. You know, everything is pretty much running on the honor system. And that's always been good. It's been able to generate a lot of wealth for people, been able to change a lot of lives, all, of course, within the context of doing things ethically. But I think more and more what we're starting to see, especially with the advent of social media and the constant growing of the internet, we're starting to see more and more opportunities for fraud. And with that fact, local governments, sometimes state governments, are looking at ways to regulate, curb, or kill the practice of wholesaling. Now, let's talk about why that would be bad for the economy. First off, most economies thrive off of real estate. Let's just be honest. That's a lot of bank transactions. That's a lot of homeowners. That's how contractors get work. That's how resources get in commodities get turned into um, consumer goods that go into filling homes. So homes drive a huge part of the economy, just the idea of real estate itself. So wholesalers help facilitate that practice. They help bring buyers to sellers. Now, this could be sellers who are distressed, sellers who, for whatever reason, need to discard a property, which is bad on the community, right? If you have a bunch of abandoned homes and no one's taking care of those homes because they don't have an option for offloading this house, so they just straight up abandon it. That doesn't work out for anyone, right? So there's so much good that wholesaling provides to the public and to the economy at large. So we don't want to ban wholesaling. We don't want wholesaling to go away. We just want to make sure we're maintaining some sort of ethics code. This is why I felt the need to start this channel, is because I don't want to see wholesaling go away. It's provided such an opportunity for so many people for so many reasons, that the governments, we don't want to give them an excuse to come in and affect anything we're doing. So I thought it would be, important to start a channel and a website. By the way, visit us at ethicalwholesaling.com for more information, for articles like this one, and just for more resources. Because again, we want to maintain ethics in real estate and doing the right thing. But I digress. The reason you're here is to check out this article. It says Attorney General Chris Mays today announced a lawsuit against multiple individuals and companies accused of orchestrating widespread equity stripping scheme that defrauded Arizona homeowners facing foreclosure. The lawsuit filed in Maricopa County Superior Court alleges violations of Arizona's Consumer Fraud Act, to Racketeering Act. So this is huge, guys. We're already, as you can see, they're talking about wholesaling. Let's just be honest. Homeowners facing foreclosure, that is this code for wholesalers. So what they're trying to do now, rather than seeing it as the noble, business that it is we have politicians here trying to, what I think is just to demonize the business. First, they have to scare you and turn you against the industry. Then it'll be very easy to rally support, just blindly to get the public to go along with supporting the tear down of the wholesale industry. He goes on to say, and this is for the words of the Attorney General Mays. She says, for far too long, these bad actors have preyed on Arizonans in distress, stealing the hard earned equity in their homes through deception and fraud. Now, here's where she's just dead wrong. Wholesalers aren't stealing any hard earned equity. These aren't homes that have any particular equity in them. Equity isn't a given. Equity isn't something that is guaranteed to happen to your home is always subject to market forces. So even if it's not you directly that's impacting the equity or lack thereof in your home, it could be market forces. Are we going to say that market forces are stealing away from the homeowner? So and I mean by market forces, I mean things like a buyer's market versus a seller's market. These are things that just happen with the ebb and flow of real estate. It doesn't automatically mean that because a home hasn't gained much equity, that it's the result of fraud. But this statement is so misleading. A lot of people are going to walk away with the idea that a home should always be guaranteed equity, and you have these sharks out here who are taking unknowing homeowners who don't know this fact, which is not a fact, but who don't know this and are duping them somehow out of their equity. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. Now, while we do want the home to gain equity, that could either be with the current owner or it could be through new ownership. Equity in the home isn't guaranteed to go to anybody in particular. So we want to really be aware of these type of statements that politicians are going to start making in an effort to demonize folks and turn them against the wholesale industry. It says these homeowners didn't just lose their homes, they lost their best chance to rebuild their lives. Let me be clear, if you exploit homeowners in the most vulnerable moments, my office will find you, hold you accountable, and ensure justice is served. Guys, this is so over the top. I'm really surprised that it's gotten this far. I know Arizona has a pretty Republican legislature there. I think this is why she's taking this in run around them and going straight to the courts, where she may have some better chance of getting this out into the masses. But yeah, look what she just put out here. She's saying she's going to go after honest, hardworking people and go through their books and go through their marketing and try to find some way to basically accuse them of duping the homeowners. So this is for you wholesalers out here, especially in Arizona right now. You really want to make sure your ducks are in a row, that you're keeping track of your records, that your contracts are clear, that your buyers and your sellers are fully in the know. I think transparency is the word I'm looking for here, guys. We're going to have to fight this back with transparency, show we have nothing to hide. And honestly, the good folks, the good actors, because she's calling out bad actors. And if we don't respond as good actors, again, the general public is going to walk away with the impression that real estate is just full of a bunch of bad actors. And that's because the good actors aren't making enough noise. So it's time for the good actors out here, I feel, to make a little more noise. Otherwise, our industry won't be around very long, because we have the politicians now starting to kind of get wind of this, starting to sniff out this market that's going on that they can't regulate, that they can't keep tabs on every dollar that's coming in and out. So they're going to be calling corruption on everything they can't monitor. So it's going to really be up to us to be transparent and let them see that we're not hiding anything. All right. So here's where we got a specific case, because they need a case. Here's the one they've actually found to forward this lawsuit. It says the lawsuit alleges that Cameron Jones, through his company Gazelle Investors, and Samuel Sutton, through his company Magnum Financial, led a network of businesses and individuals engaged in an organized real estate scam. The operation targeted homeowners in foreclosure by tracking foreclosure notices on county recorder websites. So this is a free admission that this information is publicly available. It's out there on public websites. So how they're building their case is sketchy at best. I feel like in these certain cases, and I don't have any proof of this, so don't quote me on it, but I think they shop these cases around, it feels like, to sympathetic judges who might entertain this kind of stuff. Because really, in the free market, we got publicly available information. If you and I, as a private individual, want to contact someone in a public that's whose information is in a public database about a public issue they're going for, there hasn't been anything stopping it up until now. And this is what wholesaling was built around, that idea that it's all public information that technically anyone can do, which is the double-edged sword of real estate. It's the fact that anyone can do it. And this is where government's going to seize a chance to kind of put up barriers to entry. And sometimes that's a good thing. Some things need a barrier to entry. And then sometimes that barrier is just going to get bigger and bigger and more, close in on you more and more. as government gets its grubby little hands on uh, what it sees as an opportunity to harass honest men and women out here trying to earn a living. So let's go on a little bit further because again, this is just basically describing wholesaling and the business itself and painting this tint on it that it's something corrupt and something that should be outlawed basically. But it says once the foreclosure notices were posted, door knockers recruited by the defendants were dispatched within minutes to approach homeowners under false pretenses. These individuals posed as foreclosure relief specialists or representatives of charitable organizations, including a fabricated industry called Arizona's Helping Hands, to gain homeowners' trust and make them believe they were dealing with a legitimate charity. Again, guys, this is really a shame that this is being painted in this light. So these folks that door knock, or what we call driving for dollars, these folks who are out here driving for dollars by approaching homeowners are now dispatched as these nefarious people going out to look for homeowners under false pretenses. Now, we got to look at each individual company. I'm not saying that this doesn't happen. I'm not saying corruption isn't real. What I'm saying is that some of this is, to me, just hating on the fact that there's such a lucrative enterprise going on that the government can't touch. And what they want to do is create the allure of corruption, which gives it an edge, gives it a way in to begin to regulate these things. And now we're paying the state for licensing. We're paying to get continuing education. You're paying all types of insurance fees. So the costs are going to go up and up and up and up and up. So the government's basically wanting us to spread this money around to them. And they're going to do that by trying to show that the system that we're working with here is corrupt. So this is what we're up against, folks. So I want to go to a couple of more paragraphs and then we'll wrap things up. But again, hopefully you guys are starting to understand how important ethical wholesaling is to this equation. Okay, it says after gaining entry into homes, the defendants used high pressure tactics and deceptive contracts to strip homeowners of their equity. Again, as I said earlier, this is not a foregone conclusion that the home will have equity. Says the contracts, often invalid under Arizona law, allowed the fraudsters to acquire properties far below market value while retaining broad rights to cancel transactions and flip the homes for significant profit. In some cases, fraudulent bankruptcy and probes filings were used to delay foreclosure auctions and maintain control over properties without the homeowner's knowledge. So again, these aren't necessarily by themselves corrupt practices. Can everything be spun and used in a corrupt way? Sure. And, should individual bad actors be called out? Sure. But this is not what this is here. This is the government making a concerted effort to get into the wholesale business, so to speak. You watch these movies or you see these old shows where, a merchant might be setting up a shop on Harlem. And lo and behold, here come two corrupt officers to come around saying, hey, we got to tax you if you want us to keep your candy shop or your dry cleaner from getting run over by vandals. But don't worry, if you pay us a little protection money, nothing will happen to your store. This is kind of the same thing. This is the government coming in saying, hey, if you don't want anything to happen to you, if you don't want to lose everything, then you're going to do business our way and we're going to siphon off some of your money. So, guys, we got to really make sure that ethics are becoming more and more at the forefront of everything we're doing here in the real estate market because it's our only way to be back Uncle Sam once he sniffs a money trail. So we got to really think about that, guys. So I'll just go ahead on and finish it up by saying this. This is something that this Attorney General had to say. She says, this scheme relied on an entire ecosystem of supposedly legitimate businesses to put a veneer of legality on blatant consumer fraud. Title companies and law firms knew what they were doing, but they kept going because the scam generated millions of dollars and they wanted their share. Ha ha! There you go. I mean, they just exposed themselves. It's not so much about these private businesses wanting their share. It goes back to what I'm saying. This is the way the government coming and saying there's too much money going around that we're not in on. And actually, what it is we want our share. So, yes, guys, and check this out. The lawsuit seeks civil penalties of 10,000 for each instance of consumer fraud, the dissolution of companies used as fronts for the fraud, and a permanent ban on defendants engaging in real estate transactions in Arizona. Additionally, Attorney General Mays is warning others engaged in similar equity stripping schemes. If you are victimizing homeowners, we will stop you and recover what you stole, said Attorney General Mays. If your business is helping these scammers, we will file suit against you, seeking triple the amount you earned from the scam. There it is again. This is just government trying to come in here, using the allure or using the facade of corruption to get in to start taxing and regulating an industry that was just minding its own business, up until, the rise of, I got to say, things like TikTok and the various social media websites who paint wholesaling as this get rich quick scheme. And this is what's bringing the attention of the Fed and the government over to wholesaling to try to see what they can do to get in on the action, so to speak. So this is it, guys, and we got to be careful. She says the days of ripping off distressed Arizona homeowners are over. If you keep doing it, we will see you in court. This is those two cops on the beat showing up to the candy shop saying, hey, if you don't want your glass broken, if you don't want your candy stolen, because this is a crime-ridden neighborhood, and if you don't want something to happen to your place, you better give us a little bit off the top. This is the same thing, guys, so we got to watch it closely, and again, fight back by doing the right thing, guys. Again, this is Kendall with Ethical Wholesaling. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's alerted you, it's woken you up to some of the actions and things planned against the wholesale industry, guys. So got to get our act together and make sure we don't give them an excuse. All right, guys, but this has been Kendall. This video has been brought to you by Dickinson Residential Group. Please check out our website. Give us a call if you're a buyer or seller in the wholesale business. We'd love to connect with you and see what we can do. Again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. You take care.